What's the end game here, do you think? Is it ultimately about regime change? And what does Iran look like then? It seemed to me there was a high prospect of having a renewed nuclear deal. You can see what that looks like. What is the strategy now? Trump seems to be saying Iran should come to the table and negotiate a deal now. Sunday would be good. Is that at all plausible?
Well, there are two things going on here. There's the Israeli dimension and the Trump dimension. From the Israeli dimension, Netanyahu has actually been quite consistent on this. He wants to wipe out the Iranian capacity to acquire a bomb, and he's been, talking about this since the late 90s. And they've obviously had this exact plan in the
Yeah.
cards for years, right? So no one should be surprised. And whether or not this causes the Iranian people to rise up and overthrow the regime, or if there's, Mossad or American or Sunni Arab plans to help in that, Allahu alam, that's beyond my pay grade, right? But certainly things are going to be happening there. On the Trump side, I think that he will feel, I didn't want this to happen. I would have rather gotten the Nobel Peace Prize for some JCPOA-like deal with Iran and then stimulating investment. But whatever, at least the attack has hit home, and we can seem sophisticated that we, deal of the century, we conned them, whatever. He has no love lost with the Iranians. I'm interested in your thoughts about the threats to the NPT and just the kind of global nonproliferation piece. You and I probably see differently, what the desirable outcomes are here. So I'll let you go first.
Sure. So this, as you say, Israel and Netanyahu have had this possibility in mind for a long time. But one of the reasons there has previously been resistance from the US and from European countries, including the UK, has been the concern that by attacking Iran, you encourage them to think that they should go for a nuclear bomb, that they need it ultimately as the final deterrent, and that meanwhile, the sort of physical consequences of an attack are only going to set back the nuclear program for a year or a few years, but not permanently. This is still playing out, but certainly Iran's nuclear
However,
program hasn't been destroyed. It
but
has
now it
been
has.
disrupted.
Let's not leave any ambiguity here for the listeners to potentially misunderstand. If you did a partial attack where they could still very quickly enrich and there was a regime that was in place to do it, that would have been a disaster. But in this case, it's not just that there's been a direct hit at Natanz and that they're going to be continuing over Friday and the weekend and into next week to just pulverize, right? So I think you can say the Iranians' breakout capability, if they had been just a month away, that has now been significantly set back. You have to call a spade there, right, Jane?
I am not yet clear that Iran's nuclear program has been completely destroyed.
Oh, come
This
on.
is still playing out.
Come on. That's extremely interesting. And I'm not a technical military expert on the bunker busting bombs, but if you're seeing what's being said about the extent of the quadcopter drone attacks literally decapitating the top people associated with the program, as well
Yeah.
as at IRGC and in the political leadership, but then that there have been direct hits at underground facilities, not only at Natanz and elsewhere, but at the centrifuge making plants. I think it is fair to say they've been set back in their ability to achieve breakout capacity. Does it mean that in 2 or 3 years, could they re-get it back? Yes, of course it means that. But they're not going to have sped up their ability to make the bomb right now.
But the problem has not been their ability to make the bomb. The problem has been the political decision to make the bomb. For quite
Huh.
some time now, Western government assessments by people who really do know their stuff on this have been that they are a threshold nuclear power, but that they had not taken the political
Right,
decision
because they knew
to
that this would
weaponize.
happen if they did it.
So now this has happened when they didn't do it. So the calculations change. So we still end up with the problem. You say 2 or 3 years. Maybe I don't have an assessment, but that is still a problem in 2 or 3 years' time. And the arguments that I've heard previously for the military route are, well, we'll just need to keep attacking every 2 or 3 years to keep setting them back. I just don't see that being a brilliant recipe for success. Thank you for watching this video from Disorder. For more, please subscribe, and why not give us a like?